Hello, I'm Irina Bokas. Welcome to the Future of Learning. As parents, educators, and community members, we often wonder which educational experiences are truly meaningful to our children and which one will prepare them for the times when they're ready to leave our schools. As good as our guests could be, we have to admit that our children are growing in the digital era that has substantially changed the way the world works. How do they see themselves in this new world? And what experiences are truly meaningful to them?
Today we had an opportunity to ask these questions to Clarkston 7 high school seniors who are at the end of their educational journey at our schools. Camron Razdar, Makayla Tuomi, Courtney Hughes, Michael Abraham, Jack Witzke, Sarah Fluegel, and Dunn. Thank you everybody for being here today. I really appreciate this opportunity to talk to you. As you guys are ready to start a new chapter of your life right now, could you say that you feel that you are prepared to face the world? And if so, which learning opportunities here in Clarkston Community Schools prepared you for that?
I would definitely say that I feel really prepared to tackle on any challenges that the real world has to throw at me, and I'd definitely say this because of some experiences. I know Sarah and Ty also experienced the TOK learning experience in Mr. Ives' class, where we would not just focus on the English subject, but we would also go out and talk about different ways of knowing and how that relates to each subject. So I remember one time we actually went out to the back of the school and explored nature and related that to life sciences and math. And all of that really opened up my mind to seeing how there's different cross-curricular ways of learning. And I also remember that in 10th grade, we did a cross-curricular project, and that really helped me in being able to set goals that were defined and being able to achieve them, because we had to work with other student members, and also just to be able to relate different subjects to each other that were seemingly not relatable.
Why do you believe it prepared you for the future?
I think in the future I'm going to need to be able to think on my feet and really tie things together and work with some great people like these fellows. And in the future, those skills of being able to relate different subjects and also being able to work together to achieve a common goal will definitely help me in, I think, any task that I need to tackle.
Okay.
I'd also think that Clarkston Community Schools has helped me develop as a person, prepare me for my future, particularly in that it has helped me learn how to handle myself as an adult and work with other people kind of as an adult and in a professional manner. Particularly, I remember in leadership in the junior high school, just having that leadership role, and I had to interact with a lot of other adults, and that kind of just helped prepare me. And then moving on into high school, I was in drama club, and I've never been one to put myself out there in front of a group, so that kind of forced me to face my fears and stuff. And it helped me really just present myself as an adult and kind of handle my situations in a more mature manner than I had before.
And you think it's going to be important for you?
For sure. I always had, throughout elementary school, I was very kind of anxious in front of groups, and that was an issue that I struggled with. So, as I progressed through Clarkston Community Schools, I definitely have grown in that aspect, and it's going to continue to grow, I guess, in my future. But
well, all the different groups Jack's pointed out, and even Cameron, it just shows how Clarkston has so many different opportunities for everyone, and so many different niches that everyone can find their own. And I think that's really important for when you go into the real world, because you need to discover yourself. You need to find what area is best for you and which one makes you happy, which helps you grow, and Clarkston's allowed us to do this.
Well, that's interesting that you said that you need to discover yourself. Why do you believe that it's important?
I think a lot of times we grow up with, okay, I want to be a doctor, I want to be an engineer, and you're just so set on the path that has been laid out ahead of you from when you're little. You don't actually do what makes you happy. And if we're going to be stuck in our own ways, is it really worth it? But with opportunity, we have a bigger chance and a bigger pool to choose from.
Okay, well, if you look back at your educational experiences here all together through kindergarten and from kindergarten through the 12th grade, what do you remember the most as far as learning? What learning experiences? And why was that particular experience is important to you as a learner?
Experience that I still remember really vividly was from second grade. And that was Mrs. Noble's Super Saturdays, as you would call them. And what we'd do is we'd take a class field trip every Saturday, maybe like a museum, or I remember we went to like a candle shop and we went over there.
I remember that too.
Yeah.
Not myself, but my children, yeah.
And I remember when we first started doing them, I didn't really get like why we were going to learn something on a Saturday. Like, why would I want to learn something outside of school? But that really taught me that learning can be fun, and it's really fun to learn stuff with other people and with your family. And that always stuck out in my mind because that's when I realized that I actually like to learn, and I actually like to problem solve and learn about new things. So that's something that's always stuck out.
So you believe that in this experience, it was important to you and you remember it because it was interesting?
Yeah, I definitely
Right.
say that I learned to actually enjoy my learning instead of having to view it as a task.
Okay.
I don't have as great of a memory, so my memories from the last 2 years of the International Baccalaureate program. I was part of the higher level mathematics program within International Baccalaureate, and Mr. Gilmore is the teacher for that. And when we first arrived, he said that we were going to cry every day. I may or may not have cried every day, but he really pushes you off the ledge, and you really feel like you're failing, and that you're alone, and that you're teaching yourself, and that you're not having that supportive environment. But what you come to realize is that Mr. Gilmore was there the entire time, holding the rope that kept you from crashing down and dying at the bottom of the cliff. And through that, we were able to experience what it was like to teach ourselves, what it was like to struggle through mathematics. And I think that really got to the core of math. A lot of the time in most math classes, the teacher will lay out, this is how you do it, and you're just really reverberating what they told you, the processes and the procedure, but not actually learning how to do math. So what Mr. Gilmore taught us is when we approached questions on the test, which happened to be probably the most difficult questions I've ever seen, we were able to think it through and actually approach it with an analytical and evaluative fashion that really enhanced our ability to do math, and I think that will take us pretty far into the future.
Would it be the difference between what to think and how to think?
I would definitely say so, without explicitly stating it. Mr. Gilmore is very good at developing that.
Okay.
Building off of that, I had the privilege of being a part of CSM Tech, which is Clarkston Science Math Technology Academy, and one of our final exams, they try to make it not so more multiple choice or short answer, but we went out into the woods that we have, and we were given a map, and we were learning trigonometry and geometry, and we had to map out how to get to the different treasures. And so I remember I've never applied math into the real world other than just on paper and pencil. So I thought it was amazing to connect the outside world and using the skills that I've learned to actually make a map, to follow a map in a mathematical way. And so I'll never forget the fact that I applied math to navigation.
Something that you didn't expect.
I never expected it, right?
Well, that's the better application.
I think that's something that Clarkston Schools is kind of diving into a little bit, is this cultures of thinking, and that's becoming just really influential to all of us, because no matter what programs we're in, these teachers are becoming more aware that like we have to take what we're learning in the classroom and be able to apply it to our daily lives and to our future and to other subjects. And so I think our teachers are becoming more and more apt to say, okay, how does math apply to navigation, or how can your speech class help you in drama club, and how can your science class relate to how your car works? Like, all of these different applications are what are really teaching us to learn and to prosper in our futures, instead of just take a test and get a grade.
So it's not about having the knowledge, it's ability to use it, pretty much in different situations. All right, so the question is then, what do you believe, if you had this opportunity, is needed to be changed in schools? If you would have a magic wand and you had, okay, change one thing in the schools that you believe needs to be changed, what would that be?
I would personally say I think that schools should focus more on academic ability and less on who's in the same grade level based on what classes someone should be a part of. And I think that because there's some students that just don't have the the mind frame yet to be able to go into some of these advanced classes, and they'll be left behind even further if they continue to go in that track. But if we can really focus in on the individual student and tailor to their needs, and try to group students who are of similar needs together, then I feel like we can all prosper and really grow and make sure that no child is left behind.
And what Cameron's alluding to is that our education system tends to be tailored for the average, and for the average student, in that when we take the entire sum and divide that by the number of students we have, which turns out it kind of adheres to no one, because no one is exactly average. And so by not designing a system for the individual, but instead the average, we're kind of making sure that everyone doesn't have the best opportunity that they could.
So basically, is there an average, right? Is there an average student, and what does it look like?
Exactly.
So maybe we need to remove the average from the school system.
And I think Clarkston Schools is doing a great job with that. I know with both CSM Tech and the IB program, they offer accelerated pathways for students who really are looking for that higher level. And I know with Ty and I, with the experience in IB, we've actually been able to have classes with juniors, and that's really helped us, well, we were seniors, and that's really helped us, I think, in getting a fresh perspective, because we've been in the same classes these past 4 years, and being able to go outside of that and learn from other students, that's been a huge help, the collaboration there.
I think even too a great example is our OTC programs, where kids have the opportunity to go to a different campus and take classes where they specialize in something. So I have a friend who's really, really interested in nursing, and so they go and they take classes where, you know, they're doing hands-on things that will prepare them for that path specifically. So I think even that's a great example of how Clarkston is trying to cater to that, trying to cater to specifying towards the individual instead of just, oh, you have to take all of these classes.
And I think what Clarkston could change if they wanted to was, I think as we finally reach senior year, we realize how everything connects. We look at the concepts and we see how everything works together. But I think it's just as important to realize that when you're older, but we should try to introduce it to us when we're younger, so then we can keep growing on it and developing those skills, because that evidently is what we're going to use. We're not going to, okay, this is how you take a multiple choice test and here's your score. All right, you're going to have this great job. That's not how the real world works. So
I'd like to add on to that and just say that it seemed to me that a major driving force for almost all my decisions in high school was, okay, what will help me when I have to apply to college, and what will help me get into college? Why did I join NHS? It would look good on my college application. And that kind of bothered me, even though I was doing it just like everyone else, but it still bothered me. So if I had a magic wand, I would try to change the variable that pushes us to do new things and try new things, instead of what will look good on my college application. Instead it'd be what would be fun, or what might help me learn or grow as a person.
What was the purpose of the education? Getting into college or finding yourself?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
To go off of that, a big problem I had with high school is a lot of people are focused on the destination side of the journey.
Mm-hmm.
We always study for we learn this material for a test or a quiz. Not so much you're learning it just to learn it, and then or you learn this stuff for an AP test or an IB test, or something like that. And it's always been something that's kind of people are working towards
A goal.
instead of working to actually better their education.
Do you think we need to slow down?
I think in some aspects, slowing down with just the idea of why we are learning and how we can benefit from things. I think not everyone has the time to realize that. And I think like Makayla was saying, now that we're seniors, we finally realize that, because we're finally being able to slow down and see the bigger picture of things. So I definitely think introducing college applications, possibly things of that nature at a younger age, so that students can get acclimated and understand that this is not the total destination. The total destination is improving yourself as a whole. I think that could potentially be an improvement.
This kind of leads to my last questions. What do you believe worth learning in schools? And you kind of touched upon this a little bit already.
I think that there was a certain project that we did my junior year, and it's called This Is Your Life. And it's where you pick a college, a hypothetical college, you get a job, and it's kind of like this whole simulation of you growing up, and you pick a house, an apartment, and all that stuff, and then you find all these costs. I think it's worth learning how to manage not just money, but how to manage yourself in the future years, because I know personally I am not really good with money. I'm learning, I'm getting better, but when it comes down to it, I feel like we should spend more time understanding what's ahead of us. Like Michael said, don't make it a destination, but kind of make it a goal, or make it some sort of imaginative future so that you're looking forward to it. Because I know I was really scared. There are a lot of zeros on a lot of those projects, so it was really expensive. But I know that with all the work that we've been doing and all of the extracurricular stuff, we're, like Jack said, on the college application, we're all going to be going really far.
Okay. Any other ideas?
In like the system that we have set up and within our society, we're very much conditioned to believe that education is about career readiness and about developing ourselves and the skills that will be useful to applicable life. And those are important. We shouldn't underscore those. But also, I think opportunities like Camron spoke of, theory of knowledge. We're not going to go out in the real world and really apply that. But the impact that has had on us as people and as students and going into the future when we approach classes that are more applicable and when we think about things within the real world and develop what we believe and who we are, those are incredibly important to discovering ourselves, as Makayla said, which also is an important piece of education that is oftentimes lacking.
I think something that Clarkston Community Schools is driving towards, but not totally fully set at yet, is algorithmic thinking and just object-oriented thinking. I've had a great experience with that in Mr. Conwell's class, in my IB computer science class. And with algorithmic thinking, it's more of how you can set a procedure to get an end result of some type of conclusion or some type of idea. And I actually applied some of the things that Mr. Conwell taught me into in my English class and my math class, and that really helped me personally in being able to write a better essay, solve some differential equations better. And I think that's something that not enough students have the opportunity to experience because it really helps organize a student. And I think organization is something that's very key in having a strong basis of an education, and that's what one of the things that Clarkston Community Schools is for.
If I had to look back on my education, something that's had a lot of value to me was in CSM Tech, we spent a lot of time learning how to use different technologies and a lot of modern stuff, and I feel like that was really beneficial just to help set me up to succeed in the future. And just learning about the technology that we have now and how to apply it to our everyday lives, that had a lot of value. That was really worth learning about, I would say, through high school.
So something that is life worthy, something that you can apply, and something that perhaps can make you grow as a human being and as a person.
Definitely.
Okay, well, thank you so much for your time today, and the best of luck with you as you're going to receive your high school diplomas very soon, and as you start another chapter of your life.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
To quote Alfred Mercier, "What we learn with pleasure, we never forget." While teachers open the door, we have to enter ourselves. It is through our own experiences, through self-connection and engagements, we learn about the world and ourselves.